Wumble's picks this week. Wumble's picked. Has Proton gone too far? This is from Siggy47. 38 comments, 941 sets. Keyan. What's this?
Yeah, so I guess Proton released a spreadsheets application. Seems like they've been just one after the other kind of releasing Office Suite type applications. In this case, they released a spreadsheet thing. And so Wumbo asked, well,
Like Google Sheets, basically.
like Google Sheets,
Hmm.
but for Proton,
Interesting.
Siggy seems concerned that Proton might be getting over their skis and like overextending themselves and maybe won't be able, like it'll degrade their other product offerings by having this
What's
new
all their
product.
product offerings? Let's look at that. So they got Proton Mail.
I'm a subscriber. I'm a big user of Proton.
Okay. Have you used Sheets yet?
No, I saw the announcement.
You can talk over
My
here.
thought is like, is Sheets really what breaks the camel's back? Because they have Bitcoin wallet, they've got like Drive, they've got Password, they've got a new private AI.
Do you have a private AI now?
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming like a full alternative Google suite. But for me,
Is it called
Sheets is like
Lumo?
a
Is
pretty
that the Lumo
boring
one?
feature. Yeah, Lumo. It's really cool because I mean, I haven't
Oh, it's probably
looked into the
logging
back
in.
end. Maybe it's like trust me, bro, privacy, but they claim it's private and it has a web search tool,
Yeah,
which is a really powerful thing to have, like a private AI with a web search tool.
that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Proton. I want to keep going, keep going.
Yeah, it sounds. I didn't know they had an AI thing.
Oh yeah, they have a it's sort of like open secret, like,
Oh wow.
or Maple AI, like,
Yeah.
is my understanding. But yeah, so Wumbo asks, as developers and entrepreneurs, how do you keep from expanding your product line too far? That's a great question. I think I had an answer. I think you just need to ask yourself what your product does over and over again. And if the answer is if the answer is 20 things not very well, then you're probably doing something wrong. You probably should have one answer. Like one answer that's quite strong and good would be, so that's, I think I would guess what Proton is doing is, if they were to ask themselves that question, how they would answer is say, we're building Google's tooling, Google's like services, but private. Like I think that's what they would say. And the scope of that is pretty large, but it's at least like fairly succinct. And you can, that kind of shows up in everything that they end up offering. But it is an intimidating level of scope, because Google is a huge, massive company with, lots and lots of money. Car, do you have an answer to this question?
What was the question again?
How do you keep from expanding your product line too far to the point where it buckles under its own weight?
I think Proton is doing what it's supposed to be doing, like competing with the alternative to Google. Like they're the complete opposite of Google. That's the direction they're going in, and I think everything that you'll see. This is just my opinion. I don't know anything, but I would imagine that everything that Google has, Proton will have, because it's trying to make a direct competitor to it, just on the opposite side of that with privacy and encryption and all that kind of stuff. So I think you're going to see everything, even video, social at some point, I would imagine. But who knows? But I think, did you see Optimism had a really good response. He said, yes, you can. If you can afford it, you have a product team for each product areas for each group, and verticals for each security frameworks and auditing and the like. He said, I've successfully worked with 30 plus concurrent product teams. Wow. I didn't know that about Optimism. He goes, it can definitely be done. But he says that sounds like you're going to have a lot of delegated leadership. Austin, you kind of work with product lines. Or at least I hear you on calls talking about products. You don't have to say who you work for, but how do you think how do you think it can be managed at that scale, just by looking at what Optimism said? It sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he put it well. Like, I wouldn't change anything that he said or really add to it. It's more of like Keyan's question made me think, yeah, like what is it that they're really doing? Like, what's the secret sauce, right? Because they're building a bunch of apps, but what is the commonality between all of these apps that makes someone choose Proton? Well, the commonality here is that they at least claim to have end-to-end encryption, right? So for me, that's the secret. And like you get that working in email, you get that working, you know, maybe Drive or Calendar was their second product, maybe Password. And then eventually they're like, cool, we have the template down for how to do the end-to-end encryption for the data. Now what's the new application? And then the thing is like, okay, maybe they don't have the best calendar app. Maybe they don't have the best AI app. But it's like, well, I don't need it to be competitive on the UI or feature standpoint with Google necessarily, because they're giving me something that Google or no one else will give me. So I guess my kind of thought is like maybe the quality of the app is going to be a little bit worse quality than other products, but if they, you know, stay true to the principle of end-to-end encryption and the reason that I and most people are using Proton, I think it's good. And it makes it to where they can have a shittier Google suite and I will choose it over Google every time.
Yeah. It does. You hear a lot of people give them crap about the what was that recent thing that they had where they got who put a gun to their dick or something? Wasn't there like a 3-letter agency that did that?
I don't know anyone to put a gun to their dick. Not yet.
Uh,
I'd like to meet them someday.
yeah, this one right here. That was this one. So it's important to bring this up. Proton Mail discloses user data lending to arrest in Spain. So there's that, right? But that was like a year ago, or more than a year ago. That was probably after or before they were NGO, I think, if I remember correctly.
They're an NGO?
Now they are, yeah. Now they
Oh,
are.
you mean they're a nonprofit?
Nonprofit, yeah.
Okay. Which are kind of different things, right?
No, non-governmental organization. No, same thing in my book. But let's get back to this real quick so we can. But do you think this is a thing?
Oh
You
no,
think,
it's definitely a thing. It's like you leak all kind of metadata to them, and you have to still be super vigilant. I would guess that to a large extent, a lot of Proton Mail's privacy stuff is more of a LARP than most people using it would like to believe. I would guess that they are more private than Google, and they don't have the incentives that Google does to really mine all your data. But I think most of your email, unless you are explicitly encrypting them, are like stored in plain text on their server. So it's my understanding.
Yeah, so this was almost a year and a half ago, more than a year and a half ago. So it's worth bringing up because it is something that stackers should definitely look into. Yeah.
Yeah, and encryption won't help you from getting doxxed.
Yeah.
If you leak metadata, right? This is why, like, you can have private DMs with me on Noster, but everyone will know that we're DMing. So that's the same thing here. Maybe all your emails, maybe all your docs are encrypted, like they literally can't see it, but they have this whole audit trail. And if it's attached to a phone number, if it's attached to other metadata, they get, basically cease and desist or whatever it's called in Sweden. The feds come and knock on their door and they have to give up what they have. Now, hopefully most of that data is encrypted, but
Yeah, I think Optimism says it right here because I think the safe sign-up process is, or he says, do not use their VPN service or real IP at any time. Also, not during sign-up. And he said, open for a free account. Do not give them a fallback email. So it sounds like it's a process. Pay through Bitcoin, use a submarine swap. Sounds like. So it sounds like, and they talk about it in the comments, but definitely worth a post. Definitely.
Oh, I think he asked another question. Do you think Proton Sheets will be a successful project? I think it will be a successful project in the sense that they are. If anyone is trying to find an alternative to Google or the Microsoft Office suite, but cares more about privacy maybe than like product maturity, I think they'll be more likely to switch to Proton now because Proton meets more of the needs than they did before.
Yeah.
So
I just see them eventually just being as big as Google at some point. And then just having the alternative of it, right? But there's still aspects of like what Austin talked about. You know, you don't want to leak your data. You still got to be vigilant. Good post, Wumble. That was Wumble's picks. Wumble's picks.